Welcome to Data Dialogues, Louis. Really happy to have you here today.
Yeah, Gail, thanks for having me. Yeah, this is great. It's exciting.
Yeah, very excited. We'll jump right into things here. Just to start, can you give a brief overview of Conti and the firm's general strategy?
Yeah, so we have been in business for about 13 years in Texas, primarily buying value add multifamily product, class B and C. So recently we've undergone a pivot or a major shift in our strategy where we're no longer going to be chasing the B2C product. And now we've moved up. We're looking at class A, luxury. And we've really expanded across the Sun Belt, kind of chasing the knowledge workers in high growth metro areas. So it's a real big shift in the firm, and we've already started to execute on it, and we're very excited.
Yeah, very, very exciting stuff. The next question from my lens is, can you just talk about, what really differentiates Conti from some of its competitors?
Yeah, it's a great question. From my perspective, it really comes down to, it's almost cliche to say, but the company culture is really quite dynamic. I've been with a lot of different firms that have put the values on the wall and but made mention of it periodically. But here at Conti, they really take it seriously, and this the value that I'm most fond of is just the lifelong learner. They take that very seriously. That's built into the hiring process of trying to find people that really want to learn. And I see that as from when we're hiring within the acquisitions department in particular, we really are looking at people who understand data, who are not just who are willing to check their assumptions against the data. I've seen that across the firm as with new hires, whether that's asset management or finance. It really is this idea that the data is paramount, and especially in a business that's been so historically driven by gut instinct and relationships. I'm really proud to see the firm
You
take data
got there, and
seriously.
I think it'd be really helpful for us to understand a little bit more your background prior to joining Conti.
Yeah, no, and that actually really sets the stage for how we think about data here. Is I trace back to my start of my career to my time when I was in academia as a graduate student. Studied research design, measurement theory, really data analysis. And so the techniques I learned there from an academic level still inform my approach today. And after graduate school, entering commercial real estate industry, I had the opportunity to work, with a data provider, that actually collected data on the commercial real estate space. So analyzing the data, making it speak to clients, outside of the world of academia, and focus on publications, more of how do we make real decisions that are going to be profit. And I've also been able to work in real estate investment shops doing strategy development. So what I see for myself now is at CONTI Captial, I'm able to combine all three of those experiences into what we're doing today. It's both academic, it's heavy analysis and critical analysis of the data we're getting, and then translating that into strategy.
It is really interesting. You run the research department at Conti, and not every commercial real estate shop has one of those. So I think it'd be nice to know, what does your day-to-day look like, and how do you translate that to working with other parts of the organization, like the acquisitions team, to put that data and those numbers that you're crunching into use on a daily basis?
Really, I fall under the department here, and I'm happy to say that under the acquisitions department, and they take data analysis extremely seriously. All new deals are screened extensively, rigorously from different thresholds that we have. They have to fit our deal profile, have to work within our existing strategy. And so we really do think that this intelligent analysis of data from the best-in-class data providers, including Markerr, that we think that is what's going to give us the edge over the competition. Competitive environment, obviously. And so I think that if we know the data better and we implement that into our underwriting, and then making the case to our investment committee, that will give us the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. And a follow-up question on that, more on the real estate trend side of the business. We've seen a really rapid decline in cap rates continuously, but over the past year especially. Just wondering, how is Conti staying competitive in the bidding tent, given the massive structural changes that have undergone over the past year?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great question because this is the most competitive environment I think I've seen in the industry. So we really are looking for whatever can give us that edge. And I'll say a couple things. I already mentioned that, data. That's my day to day. So, with the data, we're really looking at the micro drivers of specific locations, zip code data in particular, thanks to Markerr. And so we think with that data, we're able to push pricing, when needed, and also to pull back when it doesn't make sense anymore. We also have a very favorable capital structure, which will allow us to move very quickly on deals compared to our competitors. So, I think in this competitive environment, I think we really are very well positioned just in how we're approaching the sector today.
That's great. And I think that one of the main advantages that I've seen from working with you and the rest of the Conti team is how quickly you're actually able to adapt to changing trends in real time. And personally, I think that's a real competitive advantage.